Hi guys, this is Emily Cubelli for Gerda Steiner Designs, and for today's card I'll be using the How Are You stamp sets. I already stamped my images on stratum watercolor paper and fussy cut them. Now I'm coloring the puppy using the antique linen distress ink and some water. First I wet the image, then added the ink diluted with water to the whole image, and then we'll add some more concentrated ink in the same color to the edges of the image and anywhere I want the shadows to be. I will use 3 dogs in my card, but want them to look like if they were all the same dog. This is why I'm doing a very simple and easy coloring, to be able to easily recreate the coloring in the 3 different images. Now we'll color some balloons from the Happy Hoppy and the Just Sentiments stamp sets. I will color them all in the same way, using barn door for some of them and spiced marmalade for the rest. As you can see, I'm leaving a highlight in white. Anyhow, off camera ended up going over the highlights with my white gel pen, since they were not all even. So you can simply fill them all with color and then add the highlight with the white gel pen once they are all dry. Also, I'm not showing the coloring in the orange balloons, but I followed the exact same steps. Here I already stamped the Happy Birthday to You in 3 different banners, which I cut out of stratum watercolor paper. As you saw, I sprayed them with water, and now I'm adding some antique linen distress ink to the edges of them, blending it to the center of the banners. This way the edges will end up a bit darker than the center. Also, I decided to color them, although at the beginning I was thinking in leaving them in white, but then thought they would stand out more with a bit of color, and this way would also balance the antique linen in the card. Here I'll work on the card base. I started with an 8.5 by 11 inches white cardstock and trimmed it down to 5.5 by 11 inches. Now we'll score it on 3 11/16 inches. Then we'll rotate my paper by 180 degrees and we'll score it again, this time at 3 5/8 of an inch. This way the flap of the card that bends to the inside has room enough so that its edge doesn't get ruined when I close the card completely. Now we'll die cut the central panel using my cloud border and leaving the card base open. Then we'll place the die in the inner flap of the card and we'll do some partial die cutting to die cut only that panel. Now we'll do the same with the outer flap. We'll place the die and partially die cut it, always leaving the card base open. Here I already die cut some pieces of cardstock using my heel and grassy border. I'm placing the grass as reference to know how high I want the heel. Anyhow, we'll color the heel first to avoid blending the grass into the heel. For the heel, we'll use my distress ink in shabby shutters. Also, we'll be using a round blending tool for all the inking in the card base, but you could use a sponge dauber if you prefer. As you can see, I die cut 2 heels in 2 different directions. This way I can continue coloring the heel like if it were one long heel. I could also flip the mask and use the other side of it, but I didn't want to risk my sky and get green on it. Anyhow, this way worked perfectly. Once I finished stenciling the heel, I did the same with the grass, but this time I used the Peel Paint Distress ink. Keep in mind that I kept cleaning my surface constantly. To continue the grass on the bottom of my card, I simply moved the stencil I created. I found that the end of the border was exactly the same as the beginning of it, so it was very easy to align and get a continuous look. If you wanted more dimension, you could also use more than one shade for both the heel and the grass. To color the clouds in the sky, I die cut another piece of cardstock using my cloud border die. This time I'm using the tumbled glass distress ink and I'm not blending the color all the way to the top, but just a little higher than the stencil. As you can see, my stencils or masks were already colored before I started coloring the card base. That is because I colored the other two panels first. Anyhow, I wouldn't use these masks too much since they had started peeling off when I finished this card. So you could make them out of acetate if you wanted them to be more durable and use them over and over again. Also, you could use any color you prefer for the clouds. I'm using blues simply because I wanted to keep this card pretty masculine. The result you get with this technique is amazing. Here I already glued my images to my card and I'm using a silver pen from Sakura to draw the strings in the balloons. But you could use a black gel pen if you prefer. I just wanted a softer look for them. And here is my card all finished. I love the way it turned out. Honestly, it was a lot of work decorating all the panels, but it was totally worth it. I love the stencil's background and the pop of color I added with the balloons. And of course, all the poppies really make this card totally adorable and fun. Even though I wanted to try this trendy threefold card, remember that you could use the same masking technique in the main panel of a regular card. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please give it a thumbs up if you did and subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed yet. Don't forget to visit my blog as well as the Gerda Steiner Designs blog to see the list of supplies and more close-up pictures. Here are 3 more videos that you might enjoy. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!